Hey, what is up? Welcome to another LPTV Disney Morning News Show. Kyle and myself are going to catch you up on what's going on in the world of Disney over the past 24 hours. Look ahead to what's going on today. Kind of a busy yesterday afternoon. I think we got a lot to talk about. So, my name is Gibby Mosley, co-founder of Laughing Place. Over there is Kyle Burbank, my
Hello.
protege. How you doing, Kyle?
Protege, I didn't know.
So let's say some hellos out there. Hello, morning people. Hi, Nikki B. How you doing? Charles Johnson, thanks for joining us again. And Gio, nice to see you. Hope you're doing all right. Hope your mom's doing okay. Please let us know. I'm curious. Let's see. We're gonna start today, like we start every single show. And so yesterday was earnings. Disney definitely did make some announcements after during the earnings call. So let's see what that's doing to the I believe yesterday we were right about 88. A bunch of stuff came
It was
out
87
yesterday.
something. I know we
87.
were up in after hours, so I'm going to hope that they didn't give it all back and say up.
Not give it all back. They did give some of it back, but it's up
Eh,
quite a bit. 3%. That means, Kyle, you could have made 3% on your money in just a few hours. That's like record breaking stuff. That's like mobile stuff.
Yeah.
You,
What?
you
Did
did,
I?
did you invest some money this morning and make
No, I did not
3%?
invest money this morning. I'm still just trying
No.
to work back up to.
See, if you just never mind. We don't give investment advice. All right. Is Ethan prepared today?
Yes. Here he is.
Good morning and welcome to the LP Disney weather update. I'm a bit tired this morning because I can't get to sleep. I think about the implication of diving in too deep and possibly the complications, especially at night. I worry over situations I know will be all right. Perhaps it's just imagination. Day after day it reappears. Night after night my heartbeat shows the fear. Ghosts appear and fade away. Let's get to the weather. Anaheim will see a mostly cloudy day with a high of just 78 degrees, following the excessive heat warning yesterday. Walt Disney World will be a bit less oppressive today as the 94-degree high will only feel like a mild 107. Scattered thunderstorms are also possible in the early afternoon, so everything is back to normal. And a repeat of yesterday, Castaway Cay will make it up to 91 degrees today, which will feel like 102 with sunny skies. Disneyland Paris is warmer today, with temps currently sitting at 80. However, they'll make it down into the upper 60s by the stroke of midnight. Tomorrow, Tokyo will experience showers early, including some isolated thunderstorms around lunch. After that, however, it will be mostly cloudy with the heat index staying just shy of triple digits. Shanghai will be sunny tomorrow and see a high of 95 that will feel a full 10 degrees warmer. Finally, it's already storming in Hong Kong, and those widespread storms will stay on the radar for most of the day tomorrow. Storms may be more scattered to isolated in the evening, but there sadly won't be much of a reprieve. Through it all, the temperature will stay steady around 84 but feel like 94. That will do it for another Disney weather update. I was thinking about singing more of my morning song now, but it's just overkill. Bye for now.
Feel like that was a reference to a song I did not know.
It was a reference to a song that he was singing. It's Overkill
Yeah.
by Men at Work.
Sing it, like for real. Maybe I'll catch it if you sing
I
it.
can get to sleep. I think about the implications of
Thank you.
diving in too deep.
Yeah, now I got it. Okay. Thank you very much. That was good. I did not get it with just the monotone delivery. Gio's mom is doing great and watching. So hi Jeannie. Very happy to hear that. Nice to have you this morning as always. All right. We're hoping later on. Don't get your hopes up too high, guys, but we're hoping later on the one and only Tony Betty will join us live from on scene where he is now covering a major event. So keep your fingers crossed. But in the meantime, yesterday's big news, of course, was the Disney earnings report and the announcements, the few announcements they made in the earnings call afterwards. I know Kyle, you and Benji covered that extensively. So why don't you give us the deets?
So I think probably the most interesting thing revolved around Disney Plus, just as it usually does with these things in recent years. They lost several subscribers. I think entirely from. I think domestic may have gained a few, but they'll continue to lose more on Disney Plus Hotstar, which, as a reminder, they lost those really good cricket rights, but that got too pricey, so they dropped that. And also, Disney Plus Hotstar, they weren't it's like pennies. Like the cost of that product is really low, so they don't get a whole lot from that. So it was one of those things they were trying to get. It's a good way to get a lot of subscribers, but not get a lot of revenue from it. So now that they're focusing on actually making money, those ones don't even matter as much. But the other thing is we know that they launched the ad supported product, and they've been happy with how that's been doing and how much they've been earning from people that have that. So now they, as promised, are going to be widening the gap between the ad supported and the ad free. So first of all, they're going to be launching the ad supported tier in Canada and I think some European countries soon. And then they're going to be raising the price in October of the ad free Disney Plus. It's going to go up to, I think it was $13.99 is going to be for the ad free Disney Plus in the United States. And they're also raising some other prices. But then also interestingly, they're going to be launching a ad-free Disney Plus Hulu bundle, and that's going to be $20 a month. So if you're going to do either Hulu or Disney Plus, they're really being like, all right, well, fine, just do the two. It'll be $20 because if you bought them separately, it would be closer to like 30 almost. So the other thing that hasn't happened yet, but they announced that so you might recall Netflix did this bit a few months ago where they were going to be cracking down on password sharing and using tools they have to be like, hey, we know that you don't live here. The person on the account doesn't live here. So you need to start, if you want to share your password, you have to pay X dollars a month. And everyone complained and said that they were going to cancel their subscription. But then they didn't, because Netflix has been gaining subscribers since they did that. It's been tremendously good for them. And so now Disney is going to be following suit. They announced that they're going to be looking into new policies and looking to roll those out next year.
All right. How are the actual financials?
The actual financials, they beat on earnings but missed on revenue, I believe. And so yeah, they were okay. They cut their loss. So on paper, they cut the losses at Disney Plus were a lot smaller. They were like $500 million, I think.
Wow.
But obviously they wrote down 250 million from that stuff that they removed. And then on the park side, things were international was up, partially because the parks were actually open. You remember Shanghai and Hong Kong had some more closures this quarter last year. So they were back in full effect. So international was up. Disneyland was up modestly, and Walt Disney World was down a little bit because, as they point out, it was coming off the 50th and the pent-up demand is kind of leveling off. So it's not apocalyptic. It's not empty like people are saying. It's just down from a record high, which, makes sense, but it's not something that Wall Street likes. They think that things can just go up forever. So yeah, and also the write down of the Star Cruiser also impacted Walt Disney World's results. They took half of it now, and they'll take half of it next month. So I think they took 100 million, and so they're expecting another 100 million, presumably.
Pocket change. So, as someone who has listened to many of these calls for LP Kyle, how did Iger sound to you? Was he upbeat? Was he optimistic? Was he exhausted? What was your impression?
He sounded like
Iger?
When he started, he did sound exhausted. Like I thought maybe he was like sick. I think he got a little bit better. The other thing on this call was, there was some news, but no, I don't think anyone really asked him about staying another 2 years. The big talk was about the thing with Penn and what that meant. People didn't read the documents because they're like, can you still promote other sports books? He's like, yeah, that information is out there. He was asked, is it possible that Disney could be acquired by a technology company? And he's like, I'm not going to speculate on that, but maybe look at the regulatory market at the moment and see that that's probably not going to happen. But yeah, not great questions. And I don't know. He sounded about the same as always. Not very excited, but more just like we're doing the work, trudging through it. we're doing okay.
Yeah, and he's always admitted this is not his favorite time, these calls. In fact, the last call he had before handing things over to Chapek, he was so excited about not having to do any more of these. And then, every time he tries to get out, they pull him right back in.
Years. More years.
Were there any, were there any questions about Stag's Mayor Consulting? I'm just curious.
I didn't hear any because probably people don't pay attention to actually interesting things. That's usually how these calls go. Like the questions that they ask are just the most obvious things that they're going to ask. And
do you guys make a lot of money from princesses?
Not going to comment on, or stuff that has been made abundantly clear that for some reason they're not clear on. Yeah, these analysts just ask the worst questions.
I don't know why these analysts don't, back channel, get their questions from places like LP that actually cover the company. And this goes for any sector. There are people who are so hardcore on a company, much more so than an analyst can be. Use these people. They're happy to help out. Anyway, okay. That was the earnings.
Actually did. We've shared this story before, but when it was at the launch, when Marvel announced its Phase 3 slate at the El Capitan, one of the analysts from Citibank actually interviewed Benji, not knowing who he was, just like saw these fans waiting on a thing and was asking them about it. And so it was funny in the next earnings call when this analyst basically took Benji's quote and asked Iger if he thought that was a fair representation. So that was kind of funny. That's like the one time somebody asked a good question. It was because the guy actually went on the street and asked Disney fans about Disney fans.
Makes sense. We know we have good questions. We're not analysts, but we know the company really, really, really well.
Yeah.
Use your resources. All right. Next up, let's move to Walt Disney. Once again, folks, stay tuned. We're hoping to have all-star reporter Tony Betty join us later in the show. So, moving to Disney World, where Shikisai, is that correct, Kyle?
Maybe say.
Shikisei?
Shikisei.
You've been to Japan, I haven't, so I'm deferring to you. Shikisei Sushi Izakaya, opening at Epcot. We have a date now. It is coming August 30th, which is just 20 days away.
So this is upstairs. It's going to be next to Teppanydo. It'll replace Tokyo Dining. So they'll still have 4 restaurants there. There's the quick service, the hibachi, Takumite, which is a very high-end dinner experience, and then this option.
This option. So, an array of tantalizing dishes crafted with the finest ingredients, reflecting the flavors of each season. So reservations and menus are not yet available, but the opening date is here, August 30th. Hopefully Jeremiah will be checking that out. I just got a Slack from Tony. Let me see what he has to say. All right. He said he will be here. He wants to get a second video up before he does, but he will be here. So folks,
doing work. Look at him.
You can now get excited. Before I told you to hold that excitement, now you can get excited. Tony is planning to join us.
And I will say, I'll say it again when he gets on here, but he did a really awesome piece either yesterday or the day before. He went to a presentation kind of looking at some of the advancements. And, we can all look at an old animated movie and look at a new one and see that there have been numerous advances in technology. But this is kind of a breakdown of some of the ones that you might not even realize, like, for example, Moana and how much they had to do with the water for that, or just these sort of like how they changed for layman terms, like a different operating system that they upgraded to the latest version for a certain film and what that was capable of. So I thought that was a really interesting article that you can check out on Laughing Place.
On SIGGRAPH 2023, looking back at 100 years of technology advancements at Walt Disney Animation Studios. The link right now in the chat.
Yeah, and this is, this is a very like industry specific conference, but I thought Tony did a good job of breaking this down into like digestible for fans and applying it to the things that we know and love and making it make sense that way.
Bringing it to our level is what you're saying.
Yes.
Bringing it down to our level even, which is hard for Tony because Tony, he's out of frame. Let's see. Jamie Lee Curtis and Owen Wilson, as we talked about yesterday on This Day in Disney History, Haunted Mansion celebrated a birthday, an anniversary. and they put out a tweet to wish it a happy anniversary. My question for you,
A pre-recorded
Kyle.
tweet, yes.
Yes, do you think this tweet was done in the past couple days?
It was put out in the past couple of days, but no, this was recorded before the strike, probably when they were at Disneyland doing all those things. Yes.
Hand it over to them.
Hello, you foolish mortals. Wait, am I allowed to call them that? Hello, all of you Disney Parks and Haunted Mansion fans. Jamie Lee Curtis here, and I play the role of Madame Leota in Disney's Haunted Mansion.
And I'm Owen Wilson, playing Father Kent in this film adaptation of one of Disney Parks' most beloved attraction. Here to wish a happy 54th anniversary to the ride that started it all.
Since August 9th, 1969, the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland Park has been welcoming guests and grim, grinning ghosts alike.
Yeah, 999 of them. But you know, I hear they're looking for one more. Any volunteers, Jamie?
You know, I hear they're actually looking for tall, blonde, tousled-haired actors.
Well, then, that's my cue to go.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary, Haunted Mansion. We hope you'll be sure to see our movie, Haunted Mansion, now in theaters.
You know, I was just thinking, we talked a bit about the Hatbox Ghost coming in and people being upset about the story telling being broken. But I remember a while ago, somebody pointed out to me that if a ghost follows you home, how do they keep 999 in the mansion? Constantly, these ghosts are leaving.
Are you saying Haunted Mansion doesn't have the tightest story of all time? It does not. Not a whole lot today. We're waiting for Tony, of course. I did want to mention that, as you guys, all you regulars know, I did do an Adventures by Disney, Wyoming, Quest for the West. It used to be called Quest for... I learned on this trip, Adventures by Disney used to be named for, some kind of storytelling fun name. So this used to be Adventures by Disney, Quest for the West. But then I guess they learned or figured that guests don't realize where you're actually going, which is an important part of adventure. So now they go by Adventures by Disney and just the location. So like London, Paris used to be Nights and Lights. Now it's London, Paris. So, but I decided to go both and call it Adventure by Disney Wyoming Quest for the West. And did a trip report. So I love reading detailed trip reports, especially like before I go on a cruise or something where it just goes on for pages and pages and pages. So I tried to do one of those for this. Lots of detail, lots of pictures, and separate it out into one post per day. So you can go check that out now on Laughing Place. Day 1 is up. I'm going to do a new post each day for the next, 7 days, 6 days. There's 7 total. So I don't know if you'd call it the next 7 days or the next 6 days, but starting today, 6 more after today. And as I said, it's long, it's got lots of pictures, and goes through our entire day 1, Adventure by Disney, meeting our guides, hanging out with some of the other adventurers, and then that first night's dinner, and all the stuff we had to look forward to. So please take a moment and check that out, and check it out for the next few days as whole trip, which was, as I have said a million times, unexpectedly the best vacation of my entire life. So you will see my joy there. Still waiting for Tony. You just sent me something, Kyle, so let me grab that.
Yeah, so next year, the Springtime Surprise is coming back. The Run Disney Springtime Surprise is coming back to Walt Disney World. And previously, they'd announced one of the themes, which was Stitch. But now they've released information about all of the different themes. So you will have the Neverland 5K, the Adventure is Out There 10K, the Hakuna Matata 10 miler, and then Stitch's Ohana Challenge, which is the, I don't know if it's all of them, 19.3. I can't.
Yeah,
do,
19.3 miles. So we've got a 3.5K, an 8K, a 10, 10. Yeah, that'd be all of them.
Cool.
Be all of them.
And then the other thing that they're doing differently this time around is they're going to have an after party at Typhoon Lagoon. It's a ticketed thing, so you have to pay like an extra $80-something to go. But that'll be on sale. All those details we'll have them on the site soon if it's not already there. And then you can look on Run Disney. They have obviously different on sale times for depending on if you're Club Run Disney or DVC or all the different things.
Thank you. Checking Twitter, see if there's any other breaking news. We'll do this day if we need to while we wait for Tony, but we definitely want to wait for Tony. Of course, the day we have Tony is the day there's almost no news to talk about.
It happens.
That's okay. Yeah. Oh, we should say, go ahead, you go first.
Oh, I was gonna say it was one thing that I missed when talking about the earnings call is that, a lot of yesterday when we had Benji on, we're asking him, hey, they signed this deal with Penn. Do they still own a stake in DraftKings? And he's like, oh yeah, blah 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 blah. Well, we found out they actually sold their stake in DraftKings during last quarter, so it wasn't. They had previously done it. They didn't have to disclose it yet. But yeah, so they no longer have a stake in DraftKings, so no need to worry about that.
That's amazing the sale, if that could have happened and none of us know about it. Because if we did, we could have said, I wonder if they're making that sale because they're about to get in with someone else. That looks like a logical play. And then, because their stock went up way big when Disney got involved, so.
And I love how intricately tied this ESPN bet announcement is to Barstool. And so it's great to see things about Dave Portnoy and Bob Iger in the same headline.
Yeah, Dave Portnoy has taken back over Barstool. I saw he somehow filters into my social, so I saw him going back to the offices and looking around this morning on TikTok, and yeah, fun stuff. Fun. Made me want a piece of pizza.
He has reviewed Pizza Rizzo, I think.
Has he? What is he? Is it one bite or one slice?
I think it's a bite, but I don't know if he always sticks to it. I've only seen ones where it was like at Disney World or something. So I haven't watched normally.
Hey, Tony, we'll have you up in just a moment. I did want to let people know that Marshall Knight is back. We love when Marshall Knight's a part of the team here. And High School Musical, the musical, the series season 4 has premiered. That means he's doing his episode recaps. I'm going to put a link for that in there.
And because they dropped it all at once, it's going to be a little different. Instead of weekly, we're going to have a new one every day as he gets them to me. So help you filter them out a little bit. You can read the first one now. And then, every day I'll have another one since you can watch the whole season right now.
Is this Marshall right here, the guy in the glasses? Is that Marshall?
Seriously, it's his doppelganger. The show was created for him. He must be so mad that he wasn't cast in this role.
Because he was. It's just a different him. Why did they drop it all at once?
He doesn't get the money for it.
But other than that, why did they drop it all at once?
I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are very happy to have with us a man who needs no introduction, but he has one anyway, even though he's not ready yet, so we can't bring him on. We will not introduce him yet. This is annoying. But he's down there. He'll be coming soon.
Why don't you quiz me and then we'll bring him on?
All right, let's do that. Good idea. Good idea. All right, this is the part of the show where Kyle tries to guess what happened on this day in Disney history. I'm going to make a prediction here that Kyle is going to go 0 for 3 here.
Thank you.
0 for 3.
I appreciate it.
No offense. No offense. Just not your...
I'm not good.
Not your lane. No, you're good at some. This is not your lane. On this day in 1935, a Disneyland, I'll even be specific, Disneyland personality was born. He was president of Disneyland from 1974 to 1990, and one thing he's really well known for, his boyhood home was on Disney property.
That is Ron Domingo.
Oh my goodness, how close can you be and get it wrong? Ron Dominguez.
I think that counts. Because if you would have let me adjust, I would have adjusted to that.
Domingo. Ron Dominguez. He has a tree at Disneyland.
Yeah,
one of the really important people in Disneyland history. And I was wrong. I thought Kyle would be 0 for 3. And he is not. He's got the first one right.
1 for 3.
All right, I'm going to bring on Tony.
5 for 3.
I'm going to bring on Tony. We'll finish this segment before we go to Tony's thing, but I'll bring him on to help you out. So the man who needs no introduction but has one.
And now, joining the show is someone very special. We have a mutual friend in Wally. He's the Doobster's favorite person on Earth, and he's a tub time extraordinaire. You know him. You may or may not love him. Here he is. Drumroll. Technically Tony.
Hey, Tony, how you doing?
Hi. Technically, Tony is a very accurate term after the last 4 days.
You were loving it,
Everything's
though,
so
weren't you?
technical.
You were loving it.
I had a good time, but it's also like my notes are scribbled. Like, how do I translate what they're saying?
Into something Doobie can
Yep.
understand. Yeah. So, all right,
Right.
let's get on.
Volume. I feel like you actually would understand more than most
That's true. It is technical.
volumetric
Okay.
simulations on a character mesh.
Oh, that sounds dreamy.
That's talking about that movie here. More about that later today. But
All right, so we're going to get to Tony in just a moment to talk about his experiences at the location. We haven't even said the word yet for, I don't think. But we will in a second. Let's finish off this day in Disney history. Help him out if he needs it.
okay,
This day in
Mr. Domingo.
This day in 1994, something opened at a restaurant opened at a Disney resort. It's not there anymore. It's one of the more often viewed restaurants because of its location. Even if you didn't eat there, you probably saw it.
California Grill?
Very close. You're in the right resort, but that's still there. I said it's no longer there.
Ah, yes.
But you're in the right resort, so that
Some
should
critics
really
will say
help.
it is no longer
The right
there.
resort
Oh,
being
my-
Walt Disney World, the right resort
No.
being
The contemporary.
Oh, okay. So the wave.
No, you can't see the wave. This one you could like see. Many people saw it because as they zoomed through the concourse, they looked right down on it.
But you said it's closed, so it's not Chef Mickey's.
Correct. But as they zoomed through the concourse, they could
Concourse
see people eating their
Cafe?
steak. Okay, maybe you just never heard of the Concourse Steakhouse.
No.
Wow. I am feeling very old now.
Wait, no, you gotta pull. Do you have Jeremiah's reaction? This just came up, so I really should have. I was like, it's the thing that Rebecca said that I can't remember what she said. I just remember Jeremiah's face being like, "Do you mean Contempo Cafe?"
I need to get that on this brand. You're right. All right, finally. Yes, Rebecca, you nailed it, and I can hear your frustration in those exclamation points. On this day in 2018, a Disney Channel original musical debuted. What was it?
2018.
2018. This is recent. You probably wrote a million articles or edited a million articles about it.
Is it Zombies?
It's not.
Is it Zombies 2?
It's not a Zombies or a Descendants.
Yeah, not to say-
2018.
and it wasn't mixed up that thing.
Somehow, I don't even remember this one.
Wow.
And yet it was only 2018, and it must have gotten so much press, and I don't even remember it happened.
High School the
It was-
Musical, the series, the Disney Plus show, the streamer.
I will give you a final hint. It is a remake, and not the first time it's been remade.
Oh, Freaky Friday.
You are accurate. Freaky Friday is
I didn't even know they did it again.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, this was an adaptation of the musical, the stage musical. I think it debuted in La Jolla, and it might have gone one other place, and then they turned it into this. And I think they licensed it for different productions, like youth productions.
So that's the end of this day in Disney history. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Tony Betty, where were you? And clue us in.
I
was
thought it
at-
was still there, so shows what I know.
Yeah, I know. We
I
can
sent
get
you a
live-
picture from the plane last night.
I know, Tony.
Laughing
Kyle-
Place doesn't believe in
I
extra
didn't
lodging.
realize that
when
that
I
was the
don't- when
plane.
it's
I
needed.
thought I just saw Janine Garofalo on a TV. I didn't realize it was on a plane. It wasn't like it was out the window at a mountain or something.
That's fair. I have some of those. I was shared on Instagram.
Kyle said that Tony may be available for a live hit.
Well, he's been asking
Cool.
me all week, but he didn't
Alive.
figure out
Yeah,
how time
because
zones
I
work,
was-
so he
I
thought
was-
the show was on still at noon, even
Call
though
me
he
out.
was in LA.
Call me out.
Wow.
Because I'm saying that, like, if you guys go live, I get out of a panel at 12:15. I can go live from the exhibit floor, and he never said anything like, "Well, it's not at 12:15."
We don't
That
really
is
have-
shameful,
we don't have
Tony.
One day of the show, to be fair.
All right. Anyway, let's get
So
back to the
I
the
was
thing.
in SIGGRAPH 2023, the 50th anniversary of a community conference all about computer graphics technology, including animation and visual effects. And there were panels and talks and sessions galore, mostly from the scientific side, but several from the entertainment side, and that's where I come into play. Disney Animation was there talking about a couple of technological advancements that they made. They even had Marlon West. Doobie, did you meet Marlon West on your adventures
I did.
in New Orleans?
I sure did.
Are you his friend? I want to be his friend. If I'm only that close to him through one degree
Yeah.
of you, we're going to be buddies.
I'm not cool enough to be his friend. I also long to be his friend, but I'm just not there. He's a cool guy.
He gave me my I feel old for the moment, because at one point he was talking about acetate cells with animation, and the room had about 70 people in it, 110 if you count the Disney animation staffers running along the back wall. Yeah, fantastic individual. But he mentioned acetate cells, and about 4 people in the room knew what he was talking about, myself included.
Oh, that's painful.
But yeah, tragically, most of these are proprietary talks and sessions, so filming and photos are not allowed. So my notebook is completely full of scribbles, hand jargons, and shorthand to bring you guys entertainment. That's why it's taking a little bit to get some of the good stuff up. But the big one went up the other day, and that was the 100 years of Disney animation talk. But coming up, we'll have Elemental, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which I asked Mac, I have not seen that movie in context. And based on that VFX panel, it's 8 different movies in one. So I don't. Yeah.
So you've got 4 articles up so far. You've got The Way of Weta.
So I go into there's a little media area, right? And I walk in, and the head of the media team just stops me and goes, "I thought that was so clever." And I'm like, "Really? I thought it was lazy and unoriginal."
You've got the visual effects of Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Amongst Thieves, one of the.
So that
Disney
was
movies.
actually, that's, even though it's a Paramount movie, that did fall into my purview because it was done by ILM. But it was a strange one. I think I talk about this in that article too. A lot of the effects in it were practical, and they talked about that in the panel for computer graphics technology innovation. So it was very strange how they were like, so we did this, and ILM came in and just like shaded and kind of made the animatronics and puppets and stuff look more realistic. And then they kind of brought it all together like, well, we planned this all in the computer, so it fits, right?
Anyway, you've got looking back at 100 years of technology, the one you just talked about, which
was the big one.
The coup de grace. That's the big one.
That was Marlon was fantastic. And at the beginning, he said, "This is a Disney animation presentation," and then the giant, like, no cameras, no photographers. And he's like, "But that's not even because of what we're showing you. That's because I don't want to be on the record." So he had a lot of good quotes that I couldn't put in there, and I'm sure you're familiar if you've also interacted with him.
Yeah, so what Tony's talking about is when I did the Tiana Bayou Adventure thing in New Orleans, he was the guy from animation who was there throughout with us. We gave one big presentation, and yeah, he still works for Disney, right?
Yeah, yes.
He's clearly got
a VFX
tenure,
animator. He is working on. I think he had something to do with Wish. Don't quote me on that, but I know he's heavily involved with Awaju, which is coming to Disney Plus later this year. And then he also said he was involved with the unannounced 2025 project. Now, without saying things I can't, towards the end of it, he said, people kept asking, will there be a return to 2D? And I thought that was strange because we're talking about all these milestones, and that's a question for a different conference, right? Like there's CTN, there's Lightbox Expo, like all the ones that celebrate the art form. So that's one you would expect there. You wouldn't expect that at the computer animation conference, right? So there was no, there's a lot of denial, but to kind of skirt the question, he kind of chastised everybody for not seeing the last 2, which were Winnie the Pooh and Princess and the Frog. And then Kyle, I was talking with you about this one, and you brought up a good point with Winnie the Pooh. # never forget. Go ahead.
Maybe you don't open a family film against the very last Harry Potter. Maybe people will see it then. That's not. You tried to Barbenheimer and it didn't work because you can't do 2 family films against each other.
Would that be the Harry Pooter?
Yeah.
Okay. Harry Pooter weekend. Where's that?
Yeah.
Did you just come up with that, Tony?
Yes. When you said Barbenheimer, I'm like, what's the equivalent there? Or Winnie the
That's
Potter.
Really good.
Winnie the Potter sounds better, I think.
That is better. That's much better.
Yep.
Never mind. I take back all credit I gave you for the first one. And
Okay.
then the fourth article you have so far, this one just fascinated me, so I want you to talk about this one a little bit. What's up with the teapots?
So this is something I had heard like whispers of. I didn't know it was a real thing until the exhibit show floor. So back in the day, around Doobie, your entry into the world of computers, there was a visual effect called a computer rendered model of the Utah teapot. It's one of the first 3D models ever made in a computer, and it's there, and it's kind of pervasive throughout. And you showed the Mrs. Nesbitt clip because that was Pixar's homage to it in the first Toy Story. With the advent of Renderman, which is their proprietary rendering software that they do license out to other studios and everything, as each incarnation of Renderman evolved, they released one of the designers, I want to say Dylan Sisson was his name, from Pixar. It's in the article, Doobie, if you can quote me on that. He designed this little teapot with legs, and it became a collector's toy that you could probably pick up at the Pixar Studio store and somehow involvement. And they're usually limited based on the little plates there. They're limited to about 1,000, maybe 1,500 each. But this is the first time, or one of the rare times, I should say, where they've all been seen in one spot throughout the years, dating back to 2003.
That's a good find. That's a fascinating story. Really
Right?
interesting.
And I tried to include all the plaques too, because that way I'm not getting it all, filling it all there. But if you zoom in on the picture, you can read it yourself too.
Yep, it's all there. You can read all about the teapots and let's see what went into what version of Renderman, and there's got some footnotes in there. That's
And then
that's
at
cool.
each Renderman, it says how it's different than the last volume or version or iOS, not even iOS. Sorry, that's actually Mac software. But
Cool stuff. I love that a lot. So yes, I guess I am a bit of a techie after all.
Doobie, the whole time I was thinking of you. I'm like, I feel like if there's one person I can lean over to, well, if they shaded that better, or said some technical terms, you might know what I'm talking about.
Might have a clue. What else are you working on from this? Anything else?
So I just put up 2 videos. Go if you want to head to our YouTube page, Doobie. Cue them up. We could talk about the time tunnel and the art exhibit. The art gallery, shocker, I love the art gallery. But it's a little, we'll say some of the stuff's an acquired taste. So if you could put that one up, that's the one I literally just finished and uploaded. Okay, well, this is the time tunnel. Yeah.
Start here.
This is the time tunnel. Yeah, this is the time tunnel this is SIGGRAPH's 50th year. So to kind of mark it, they built this really long hallway or tunnel. I won't say tunnel because it's not fully engrossed, but that's just me.
Technically, Tony.
Yep, there it is. But it in a few seconds it'll flash on and have a timeline. But as folks walk along it, and there's student volunteers in there that have VR handsets that can do stuff, and there's light sensors that trigger things. But if you look along the wall there on the right, I'm pointing at my screen, sorry. It'll flash by clips that are different visual effects milestones in movies, and then a timeline will show up, and it'll show based on year, what different breakthroughs there were. This was really cool. I thought this was a really neat addition.
There you go.
And then here's the art gallery. This was a little ode talking about what goes on inside the computer, because it's I call it budget Tron, because Tron, we got to see virtually what it was, but this was kind of is this how a computer's brain kind of works, stuff like that. This was trippy. This is all hanging reflectors that react to the movement in front of him. So if you can see him moving around.
Is that Michael Moore?
Is that No, it's George R.R. Martin.
That's there you go, Kyle. That one you would whisper something like an AI prompt, and it would do it and form it in front of you. I didn't try this, but yeah,
Out of principle?
I didn't like
Out
that.
Of principle?
No, well, kind of, which was funny, but no, I just didn't want it recording my voice somewhere, and then it would show up again and be like, wait a minute, that's what I did at SIGGRAPH, and now it's suddenly
You wanted this
Computer
eyeball
Graphics
art,
World
didn't you?
magazine. This thing I put on our Instagram also, it was trippy to me. I liked it a lot though. Apparently this was a modified version of something that was installed at a Milan fashion show a few years ago. But yeah. Just an
Our
eye on a
YouTube-
robotic arm.
Both these videos are on our YouTube. Let me ask you a question. You just mentioned the whole AI thing. Was there AI is like everything right now in the world of tech. Was there much talk of AI at SIGGRAPH?
Not that I actually went to and saw. I think I might have saw it like here and there on the catalog calendar, but some Q&As did talk about it, and the question was largely skirted. I go back to the Disney animation one, and they basically said since everything with Disney is pretty creative in-house and proprietary, AI is not necessarily on their radar at this time. So
Yeah, it is.
I didn't say it, Doobie. You did. I'm going with what they said in the panel, but it was very much like I go back to in the 80s. They weren't using computers, right? Everything was hand drawn. Great Mouse Detective, that clock, somebody just took a ruler and did those lines to make those gears, right? And then it was in 1994, as you can see in the article, that's when they kind of came out and said, we are using computers. Sorry, it's not as traditional and hands-on as we had said before. So
Shame.
I think later on it'll come out, Wish had AI. Don't quote me on that. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying in the future something like that might happen.
Anything else you want to mention about this or anything else, or upcoming nuptials or anything?
I don't know, but I'm gonna upcoming nuptials. Well, it has nothing to do with SIGGRAPH. But based on my experience in Los Angeles over the last few days, I have to leave now. I'm going to go on strike. So when I was there were writers on strike. There were actors on strike. Hotel workers went on strike.
LAX
one of the days I was there, the city of LA workers, like trash pickup and LAX shuttle drivers went on strike. Luckily, that was not the day I was at LAX. And then as I was leaving, truck drivers went on strike and blocked one of the freeways. So,
welcome
bye,
to
everybody. I'm on
California.
strike now. Yep.
Bye, Tony. Go back to work while you're on strike. Okay, that was fun. I'm glad Tony made it on here.
Sorry I misled you about his whereabouts, but
it didn't matter. I probably wouldn't have had him if I knew, but I'm glad we had him, so it worked out best. We covered earnings already. A CEO is down there. Is there anything in particular he wants to say about earnings, or is he just hanging out? Nope. All right. Well, thanks for joining us today, folks. That's all we got. Short and sweet. Good news, though. Oh, wait, now he's here. All right. Never mind. Hi.
Hi. I don't want to talk about earnings, but I need to go on a soapbox again. Yes, so I do. High School Musical, the musical, the series, season 4 is terrible.
That's not what Marshall
Olivia
said.
Rodrigo's not in it.
It doesn't matter. It's so bad. You can smell the cheapness on it. Like characters would be away. Like half the school is away. And it is just so angsty and I don't know. It's so bad.
There have been times where Laughing Place has been accused of being overly positive. So for you to make a point of coming on just to say something that negative, I think that gives us some street cred. How did Marshall do in it, though? The character here in the glasses. Did he have a good performance?
The character, that's not Marshall. That's
I'm pretty sure it is. Have you met Marshall?
I have met Marshall.
And he looks just
That's
like
not
that.
Marshall. Have you met Marshall?
This is like the people on Claim to Fame not knowing who Donnie Osmond is.
Donnie Wahlberg, yes.
Yeah, Donnie
Yeah,
Wahlberg.
Rebecca's right. You should have watched Slumber Party instead.
I know, I want to, but Alex was like, "No, we should watch this. It's the day. We should be good Disney fans." And then that's.
Did you watch it
every time
all?
he wants me to do, like if he goes like, "You should take out the trash and be a good Disney fan," I'll be like, "Yeah, I should. I want to be a good Disney fan."
Did you watch it all?
I haven't finished the last episode, and I'm torn. It's like, do I just want to know how this train wreck ends, or do I want to sit through another hour? It's really hard.
You're invested now.
It's really
Okay.
bad. But
Oh, Jeremiah, he's somewhere today, isn't he?
Yeah, he's over. He's having some fun over at Minion Land. Or is that
that
what it's
started?
called?
I don't.
Yeah,
We
it
don't have any
started.
tweets or any. Where's this social, man? We got nothing.
This is what happens when we have our meetings on the air.
I mean, I see stuff from other people. I'm just saying, sure. Not a lot, though. No. Anyway, I'll stop.
I mean, I think it's one of those things, though. It's weird because it's like we've already covered the attraction being open.
No.
But
Today, the zeitgeist is Minion Land. Get in, jump the zeitgeist wagon.
I'll talk to our social media coordinator and see if he can get on.
Good idea. Yeah, he's clearly slacking. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. Stay tuned later on. We'll have stuff from Minion Land, which is having its grand opening today at Universal Studios Orlando. Barely Necessities is coming up at 4 p.m. Pacific today. Delayed from Tuesday, but it is happening. Lots of new merchandise I keep seeing scroll by. New Roosevelts, new cool rings. Did you get rings this time, Kyle?
No, but I still have my one on from this ring was sent to me by Enso Rings. It is Buzz Lightyear. It says to infinity and beyond on it.
How much are Enso rings? I want one, but I don't know if I can afford one.
I believe they're under $50, but I will double check before I.
Maybe I can.
Benji, while on his trip around the world, it's like, you bought a lot of Lorcana packs. I'm like, yeah, 6. He's like, wow, pricey. I'm like, yeah, I spent $36. I'm really balling out.
This is how you afford to go around the world: is you save money on Enso rings, you know, penny wise and pound really wise.
They are
However
50. The latest
goes.
collection, the Star Wars florals, are $49.99. So look at me.
How could I miss this story? Disneyland Hotel, new costumes.
The Disneyland Paris one.
That's what I thought, but it doesn't say that anywhere in our first paragraph. Or again, having meetings online. All right, but they are pretty cool costumes. I do like them. That's all, folks. We're gonna go here and have a real meeting.
We do also have another event we're covering that we can't talk about yet, but keep an eye out.
Then why talk about it?
No, so people don't know to pay
Dude.
attention.
Don't be that guy. I can't tell you what we're doing, but it's really cool.
It's not that exciting. It's not like it's like a big announcement or anything, I would say, but we're covering an event for security
Not like
reasons.
a book. Not like a new book coming out, you know. All right.
No.
Bye, everybody.
You know, it's TV related. I'll give you that. TV and parks related.
Can we guess?
Sure. He doesn't know enough